So, this is A Course in Miracles. Why don't I...
Okay, this is a very unusual book.
This book is upside down.
It was printed that way. It was like a few were printed that way, and Paul just had to have one because it's different.
Yes.
They're not all like that.
They're not all like this, no. Mostly they're regular books, but this is upside down and it starts at the back, you see.
Okay.
So
it's like the Quran, I guess.
Yeah, something like that, exactly. And so, I'll give you a little bit of history first. And so, back in 1965, in fact, it's funny because I just got this history in Dutch at the other lecture I was at this morning. So, back in 1965, there was two psychologists working with the in a university in New York City, and they didn't even like each other. Like, they'd been, colleagues for like 7 years, but they really didn't even like each other. If one said, let's do this, the other would say, no. And if the other said, let's not do that, the other would say, yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's like that, right? And so one day they were at this meeting together, and in academia, there's a lot of infighting, and there's a lot of better than and stuff. Anyway, this gentleman said, there's got to be a better way to do this relationship thing that we all have. And I'm committed to finding what that is. I don't know what it is, but I'm committed to finding it, whatever it is. And surprisingly enough, she said, yes.
His colleague said, I will join you.
I'll join you in that. And then he forgot all about it. Anyway, 3 months later, she comes to him and she says, Bill, because he was promoted in the time, so he was now her boss. And she comes to him and she says, Bill, I think I'm going crazy. He says, what? What's happening? She says, I keep hearing this voice in my head. And he says, so what does the voice say? And she said, I keep saying the same thing over and over again. It keeps saying, this is A Course in Miracles. Please take notes. And he said, have you written anything down? And she said, well, no, that would prove that I'm crazy. And he said, it's okay. We'll take it one step at a time. Write it down, and then, come in tomorrow and we'll take a look at it. And if it's crazy, we'll medicate you. And if it's not, then we'll go from there. And so began a 7-year relationship with each other and this voice that she kept hearing. And this is what came of it, this Course in Miracles. And it began as 3 books, and there's also a couple of pamphlets that she wrote along with it afterwards. But there's 3 books. There's the text, the workbook for students, which is 365 lessons. And, they're kind of like meditations, not really. They're just thoughts to think about and practice during the day, and they take about 5 minutes in a day. And there's one for every day of the year. And then there's also the Manual for Teachers, which is basically a section that answers basic questions about the course. What is it? And, that kind of stuff.